This podcast has mature language, not intended for underage viewers.
Street cred sports. Street cred sports. I'm crossing over. I'm Euro stepping.
Hello, this is Keenan of Street Cred Sports Training, and welcome to another episode of Time to Ball. Episode number 50. Hope y'all are enjoying it. Don't y'all still love that theme music, man? No matter how many times it plays, I just, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I might need to go on tour and throughout, first you got to go on tour, in other parts of the country, and then they feeling it. Then you bring it back to US of A, and then they feeling it. I'm not going to be singing it. I'll just be sitting down smiling, and let the song play. I can sing the lyrics, but I can't do it as good as my man ChezdotSantana. Shout out to him for those lyrics again. Can't say it enough. I appreciate it. Hope everything's going well. I actually was surprised. I got a great surprise, and I'm used to surprising people. So my daughter and my wife actually knew about it, but my mom showed up, and it was weird. The funniest thing is the way they did it. She says something. My mom's waiting outside. I go look, thinking that there's something wrong with her car, and then I turn around and I see my mom, and I was like, "That's my mom." And then I kept, going, processing everything else, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, hold on, Mama, what you doing here?" And from that moment, the rest of the day, it felt like a daze because it just didn't feel real. I was so excited that she was able, to come down and visit. So, I always appreciate that. Anytime you can spend time with family, you do need to do it. And even if it's not, big events, if it's just you sitting on the couch talking, watching TV, you got to cherish it because you never know when something could happen that changes stuff. So hold on to them, because I know if y'all are like me, well, like I'm real close to my family. If y'all like me, you got plenty of uncles or aunts or grandparents who you wish you could sit around and talk to. So as we get into the holidays, you have more. You have more thought process because you start remembering the good times and stuff. And it's good to do it because you at least have those memories. You'll always have those memories. No one can take those away. So you will have those memories, but continue to make them. I know sometimes we get into it with relatives for whatever reasons. Sometimes it's a little bit more, competitive as family. And I get it. I'm not saying me. But I'm just saying I understand that. But you always got to remember what you have because, when it's gone, it's gone. If you got a cousin or an aunt or an uncle or, parent and you disputing with them, sometimes you realize it's not as major. There are some things I get it. I fully understand it. But a lot of times there are little things that's small, and it's like, man, that you really have to not be talking to this person for this amount of time because of whatever, because now you can't even apologize to them. And then that weighs heavy on your heart or on their heart if the person's gone and you can't, make amends. So try to enjoy each other while we're here. But having said that, I had to drop her off this morning, and I have it was a lot of fog up here, and it was pretty dense. Now I've driven in fog before where I've driven in fog before where I could possibly barely see 15 to 20 feet ahead of me. That was really bad. I've heard of fog where you can't see, virtually 5 feet in front, and, you can see the lights, but the lights kind of skew it even if you're close. So I had taken to the airport this morning, but hey, I have a BWL, bad weather's license, so I can drive in bad weather. Not everybody had those licenses where they can drive in bad weather. So it was good, and, can't wait for her to come back and visit, and can't wait to go visit her. Christmas is coming, so, enjoy the holidays again. Hope everyone has a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays, and however they celebrate it, whether it's Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, what else is it? It's other ways. So if I forget the way you celebrated, my apologies. I don't mean any disrespect. It just popped in my head like that. So let's get on to things that interest me. Okay. Now, as I announced last week, I was going to do a coaches poll. And the coaches poll was for the coaches. It was from the coaches, actually. The coaches sent me information. I put it together and put it out. It's nothing, I have no say-so in it. I just, use the information and the algorithm if necessary to make sure, that it's weighted properly, fill in any gaps if it's needed. Sounds like Jurassic Park, where they take the frog and they take the little DNA and they just put little stuff here and there. But we were able to put it out, and we're going to try to put it out we're going to put it out every week, at least until the end of the season. And I actually had somebody who was complaining about the poll, and I had to, it's amazing that you have people who don't read. My man didn't read what the poll was. He automatically saying, see, man, you guys and y'all polls, y'all ain't going out to see these games, man. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. And I just responded and said, did you read? Unfortunately, you wrong. Did you not read the top? Because the top clearly says it's a coaches poll, which means that the coaches are the ones who came up with it. I just took their information and put it into it, right? I can't see every game. Even if I wanted to, there's no way for me to see every game. So there's no way I'm going to be able to say who's better than her. And then people, when people get upset, they start getting upset over little stuff like, well, this team didn't beat them. It's like, yeah, but does that mean that they're a really good team? That team they beat, it could have been a bad day. They could have been more hype. There are all kinds of things. Obviously, head-to-head is a really good indicator, but, you go on strength schedule and all of the other stuff. So I just basically said, you need to understand it. So then he comes back and he's like, something to the effect of, well, I don't know, what they're doing, with these polls because this team lost. This team can't beat that team. So then I told him, I said, well, I would trust the coaches who, scout. They have to scout those teams because they're going to have to play them. And they're going to have to either play them on the schedule in tournaments or on the regular schedule and getting ready for the playoffs. So I pretty much think that these coaches have a good idea and a good feel and a pulse for what's, for what's going on. And it's not like a team was left off that should have been on. It's just like, well, why is this team a number 3 and this team is number 4? Like, you really going there? You going there? And I was like, man, you kind of fixated on one game. He kept bringing up to one game. So at some point, I'm gonna blast him. I'll blast him, but I even had a coach this morning that just said, hey, keep up with these polls. All polls are different, and mine was strictly based on coaches. Mine wasn't who I thought, who I think. It's based on coaches. And I feel that that's the strongest way to do a poll. Because unless you're sitting up there and you have a team of people watching all of these games, unless you have all of this analytical data, and the eye tests and stuff, it's really hard to do it because I've seen some different polls and 1 through 4, almost the same as far as the top 10 being in there, and it's just a matter of where they're ranking them. So, it's like, I think one poll, I don't know, I think somebody said that person favors, 2 schools because he deals with those schools or something like that. And it kind of, when you look at it, it's like, yeah, you know what? I can see how that's happening. So I didn't want to have any of that. I just wanted to make sure that it was weighted the way it needed to be weighted. And I don't see people arguing a lot with the college coaches poll, and that's the model that I followed. So I'm excited. Now if the coaches start telling me, look, man, we don't like it, then I'll revisit whether it should be done. But they're excited, and they're, I'm gonna have more as the weeks go by, as people find out about it, because I'll send them the information, and we'll go from there. So I'm excited about it because, they're the ones who are playing each other. You know what I'm saying? So if they don't know, if a team should be ranked this way, then who does? So yeah, my man was tripping, and I gave him a pass. I didn't go nuclear on him. I just kind of tried to talk to him. But at some point, I'm not gonna be that guy who's like, really political. I might just be like, man, sit your ugly ass down and shut the fuck up. Although there's no picture, he has an avatar, so he's probably somebody trolling who has a burner account or something like that. I'm not doing no burner account. If I gotta cuss you out, I'm gonna cuss you out. I'm gonna stand on a lot of things that I've been built on standing on. So that's just me. But let me move on, because there was something that I noticed, and as I noticed it, one of the announcers said it, who was one of the color analysts watching the game, and it was a basketball ex-player as well. Well, he was an ex-NBA player. I don't want to make it sound like my brethren, but he picked it up the same as what I picked up. I think there's you got to understand there's a difference between low IQ and high IQ play. Now, when I say this, I can't speak for anyone else, but when I say this, I am not saying that a player is dumb. That's not what I'm saying. Oh, he's dumb. I'm saying that certain decisions that a player makes are either low IQ or high IQ, or they could be higher IQ. And obviously, if you're not in those situations, you're not going to understand. But if you've played at a high enough level, the game is still the same. It's just how you deal with that pressure, right? Dealing with pressure, knocking free throws. If you were rattled by the pressure of the moment when you shoot free throws in a middle school game, to me, that's not going to change if it's NBA Finals free throws. If you approach it the same, you're going to be the same. You know how I know? Because there are people who hit clutch free throws. If it was a problem, nobody would make them. You always have these issues, okay? But high IQ and low IQ it's not just some kind of thing. It's factual. Now, why am I talking about that? Well, I was watching the Warriors and Trailblazers play. Now, full disclosure, I was a big Warriors fan. I have different teams that I like. I'm not like a fan of them, but I follow them, a little bit more because of whatever reason. I haven't really been feeling the Warriors because, I've probably made that known that I don't think they've made the adjustments that they need to make. And the league is going back big. It trended small for a while, but now they're going back big. So, everything's like a cycle. So I just happened to be watching this game. I think it was the last game on when I got home. So I was catching in, and it was a close game. Well, Portland was down 2. They were down 2. It's about 6 seconds left. Now, Steph is at the free throw line. You figure Steph's going to make, both free throws. Well, he made the first one. He missed the second one. Or he made the second. He made the first one, missed the second one, or vice versa. But in any case, no, he missed it. He missed it, and that's why it's important. He missed it, and then Shaedon Sharpe of Portland gets the ball, pulls up the court, drives all the way down, and he had an opportunity to take a little, pull-up jump shot or maybe a little jump stop floater, or he could have used a Euro or counter move to get by gentleman. I can't think of his. I can't pronounce his name. Who was there? Runs right into him, and gets a charge. That effectively seals the game for him. Now, the low IQ part is not understanding, and here's how it was broken down. He gets the ball. If he immediately calls timeout, it was about 6 or 7 seconds left. If he gets the ball on the rebound and he calls timeout, which Portland had, you can now advance the ball to half court. So you save all those extra seconds. You can draw up a play and give yourself a better opportunity, to go. But if he gets the ball and he starts to dribble up court, even if he was to take maybe one or two dribble and call a timeout, you can't advance the ball there, which is a kind of a stupid rule, but you can't advance the ball. Now you have to take it out on the sideline or on the baseline, which now you have to go all the way up whole court. Now, there are advantages to just taking the ball and going. I agree with that, because you just take the ball, you're going to catch the defense off because they're not set. Nobody's expecting Steph to miss a free throw, so it's kind of, oh, wait a minute. Oh, and everybody's scrambling. Who am I supposed to have? Those kind of things happen. So I get that, right? It was the choice of just running into the player and trying to, get a foul, and he's waiting there. He wasn't backpedaling. He was pretty much there because he was down there. He might have stepped back a little. He might have been at the 3-point line. I think Steph was on his right side or slightly behind him. So, he didn't have to go far, if I remember correctly. But in any case, you're going to know at some point, you should know that they're going to try to take a charge. That's what Golden State and some of these teams do. Why not pull up and shoot a jump shot? Why not Euro them? Why not do a jump stop floater? Those, to me, were better options in that. So you had the instance where you had to, not using the timeout, or you get all the way over half court. Now it's still maybe 3 or 4 seconds left. Now you call a timeout. Okay. Nobody called one. They went with it, and it could be Coach Biller's philosophy. In that situation, we want to push because we got the advantage. Nobody's expecting Steph to miss, but I felt like the decision was kind of a lower decision because you could have gotten a better shot rather than trying to run into somebody who was right there. I wasn't there, but the announcer. And then even, when they were bringing it up on the NBA Tonight or different things and talked about it on different, networks, they were saying the same thing. Like, what? Maybe he was kind of like, oh, shit, he missed it. I'm gone, right? That could have been it. But you have to be able to make high IQ plays in stressful situations because that's what separates wins from losses. It does, to me. So that's pretty much what I was thinking when I saw it, and I think I felt like it should have been a little bit better of a decision as far as I'm not questioning the fact that he got the rebound and attacked. Some would say, hey, call a quick timeout, right? But some are on the mindset of, take it because you have actually the advantage. If it works, it works. That's the funny thing. It didn't work, so we're complaining about it, right? Well, he should have called a timeout. So let's say he calls a timeout, and then they drop a play, and then, defense is set, and they disrupt the play, and you don't get the shot off. Well, he shouldn't have called a timeout. He should have just went, right? So it's almost one of them things where you're going to have a faction of people who think one way and a faction of people who think the other way. I'm not even questioning whether he did that. Yeah, he could have called a timeout, but I was perfectly okay. Look, I would have been okay with either timeout or advancing it. I guess if I was to nitpick on if he called a timeout, knowing that you can't take a dribble and call a timeout, that might have been the only thing I'd have been like, look, the rules. You should have just got the rebound and called timeout. Only thing I'm on is the decision of shot choice. That was the only things. Like, you could have pulled up jump shot. I would have even been okay if you'd have shot a 3, which wouldn't have made as much sense because I think they were only down 1 or 2. So a 3, I guess, but you don't have to have a 3. So pull up jump shot or bring him in and Euro, maybe in and out him because he's not going to move. And you should be able to get that shot off because these are both guards. These aren't bigs that you're going against. So That was the only thing with that. And, I'm sure as time goes, he'll look back at the film and, he'll probably see like, yeah, there's a better way. So in a sense, it's a good thing because now if it happens, he's probably going to work on how it was. I just thought, you should have, that was a better way. Because I was expecting a pull up or either a Euro or in and out going left or a little jump stop floater. That's what, as he was crossing whole court, half court, that's what I was, viewing like, okay, that's probably what, oh, he just ran into him. That's a charge. Yeah, that's not going to work. So, but yeah, that's all that was. Okay. I'm going to go on a personal announcement. This isn't a rant. This is, I don't even want to say it's a plea. It's just, whether this show is reaching millions or the millions of people, like The Rock would say, whether it reaches one person or everyone, I can't stress it enough. We got to get ourselves checked out regularly. I think I talked about this a while ago. And I know that, we get scared to know, and we sometimes think we're invincible or, whatever it is, we're not going to get it. But we got to take care of ourselves. And the reason I'm bringing it up again was Eric Montross. Eric Montross, who played a few years he played some seasons in the NBA, but he was best known for playing in North Carolina under, I think he played under Dean Smith. Yeah, it had to be under Dean Smith while he was there, and he just recently passed, and he passed to cancer. And from what I read, I don't think they disclosed what type he had, but I believe in the article it said he just found out like earlier this year, summer or maybe spring. I want to say it was March or May or something. So, in 6 to 7 months later, he's gone. And look, there's no rhyme or reason to say that if he would have gotten checked out a lot earlier, he might have not been in the same position. They say that early detection and prevention can help. Nobody knows that. But I do know that sitting around trying to close our eyes and wishing and thinking that it's not going to happen to us, it's not the best solution. And I know some people like, well, look, I'd rather not know. I just, I don't want to go through that. And that's kind of how I've thought at times, where it's like, well, if I have something I don't want to know, I just like Richard Pryor. And look, when Richard Pryor said it, it was funny, especially when you were younger, right? I was little. Richard Pryor once said, well, I don't want to know what I have. I just want to be walking down the street and I'm gone, right? And the way he said it, obviously, because it's Richard Pryor. But now it's like the more I think about that all the time, and it's like, I don't want. Do I want to know? Maybe, but I at least want to give myself a chance. So get yourself checked out. Go in. For men, if you're gonna check your prostate, you got to make sure that I think it's a PSA test. I'm not sure, but it's a test that they do. I don't think it's through the urine. I believe it's through the blood that they can check stuff. When you know stuff earlier, you probably have more options. If you're waiting too late, then you don't. You're limited in them. So I know we can't. I know nobody lives forever, so that's not where I'm going. But and I know some people want to live their life to the fullest. I just. If one person hearing this says, you know what, I'm gonna get checked out, I don't go to the doctor, because there's so many, especially in the black community. A lot of brothers don't go to doctors. We like to, just not know, and that's not how you should go, because the world is different than what it used to be. We consume and we do things differently. We eat not like we used to eat, so of course we're gonna. Put stuff in our body in the way it's not supposed to be. We're used to it, so let's just try to take care of ourselves, please. Okay, so now I'm gonna go on to my basketball ideology. Well, I was watching one of my kids play, and mom was excited. She said I was a good luck charm because he hit 9 points in the first quarter, I think. I think it was 9 point. It definitely the first half, but I believe it was that first quarter. I think it was 3 threes. He hit one, a buzzer beater at the end of the quarter. And, we were discussing it, and I was like, you look comfortable. It was crazy because of the whole situation, that's been going on with school and playing time and stuff. But he's staying ready, and I commend him for that. The one thing that I did have to talk to him about was as he was bringing the ball up against the defender, he kind of went into like a power dribble, almost like he's putting his body in front. And to me, that's always indicated that, the offensive player might be a little bit more nervous about dribbling the ball and not as confident. Now, one of the people, there are ways to dribble up the court in like a power dribble motion where it doesn't look like you're scared. You're just using your body. Magic Johnson was excellent in it. I used to try to do it, but I wasn't 6'9", right? So it worked for me sometimes, but it never worked for me the way Magic, it worked for Magic. So I realized, well, I can't do this against a taller defender because, they're going to be able to, reach around. So, I always love to face the defender, and kind of like a display of like handles, like you ain't taking this ball, man. I'm gonna go around you. Obviously, I can't shoot a shot right after I go around you, and you're gonna catch up, but you're gonna learn really quickly that you're not gonna be able to steal the ball from me. My handles are my handles, right? And that's kind of what I conveyed to him. And as I conveyed it to him, I was like, I need you to face up more and let them see how well you handle the ball so they know that they just can't, guard you a certain way. And immediately they were like, you know what? That's exactly what I thought afterwards. Okay. All right. So we shouldn't have this conversation. Well, in seeing that and watching other games, because I've been scouting some events. Shout out to Keys to Success with goodness. I'm trying to think. Billy Keys. Yeah, it's Keys to Success. Billy Keys. I'm drawing a blank. It's Thursday. I'm a little bit more fatigued than I normally am. But yeah, I scouted his event. So as I watched a lot of kids, especially when kids were playing straight up man to man, which doesn't happen a lot, which needs to happen more. But in any event, when I've seen it, I do see that some kids will face up when they're bringing the ball up, and they go by the defender. They're not trying to beat them with speed, but it's almost like they're trying to let them know, like, look, you're not going to be able to take the ball. I can appreciate you putting pressure on me, but you're not going to take the ball. And that's the way I feel guards should should go after the person who's guarding them. You shy away from them, and then you allow them to kind of hurt you the way they want you to go. No, go by them right a little. Go by them left some. Get by them. Maybe stop, wait on them, get into them, get away from them, and let them know you can't take this ball. But I've seen a lot of kids that they don't face the defenders up when they're dribbling. Right now, can everybody do it? Absolutely not. You need to have a better handle and more mastery of your ball handling if you're going to do it. You definitely need to be confident. If you're not, you're going to use whatever method you can, which is a lot of times like a slow power dribble where you're just kind of like scooching into the defender to try to keep them out. So if you work on your ball handling, have people defend you where you can go a little bit, go against a better defender, and it helps you. Sometimes they're going to steal the ball, and that's how you process what you need to do, which worked, which didn't work, and stuff like that. But bringing the ball up the basketball court confidently, it's a must for any point guard or shooting guard. Anybody who's bringing the ball up. You need to be able to do it confidently because the defender will pick up on it. And this defender seemed to get a little bit more aggressive, right? And then on the other side, when the kid guarded, when it was opposite, that kid was, more confident, which was also a kid that I've worked with as well. So I always love it when there are a couple of kids that we've had and, that are playing against each other and stuff. So, this kid was a lot more confident in handles. But both of them they can handle the ball. It's just the mannerism in which one went about it and the aggressiveness and arrogance that the other one went. And I appreciate that. So work on bringing the ball up confidently. Okay, so next thing is something that I saw. And I should have put this on a rant, but this is more ideology. Sportsmanship in youth sports is horrible. Now, I've said it before, and this was me watching games, and there are a lot of things that I'm seeing that I'm not happy with. It's disturbing, and as adults, we need to really start to impress upon the youth this. And there needs to be a concerted effort to start reaching these high level professional and college players, to start letting them know that what you guys do, they're watching you. You hit a shot and it's the ice in the vein. The way you do the three. Now you have in youth sports, if a kid falls down, his teammates run to him and try to pick him up. All of that stuff is great. But here's where I have a problem, and I have a really bad problem. And anybody who thinks it's okay, you need to take a look in the mirror, especially on the youth level. Anytime another kid, if you get into a tie-up or something, or a foul, and you foul them, and you extend your hand to try to help them up, that kid should allow you to help them up. Looking at them or making a gesture or like, and walking off because you hear professional players say, "Oh, well, man, we don't help nobody up over here. If you knock somebody down, they stay down. That's their job." Or I believe LeBron said, "No, if you fall, you don't get up. Your brothers should come over there and help you get up." And if somebody's over there, if you just happen to fall and somebody's over there to try to, hey, good job, right? You don't allow them to help you. That's bullshit. And I'm going to tell you why. When the stars, if LeBron and KD fall, or if LeBron falls and KD's right there and KD extends his hand to help him up, he's going to take it. And you know how I know? Because I noticed it a long time ago, and I've steadily watched, and not like, oh, I'm going to do this study, but I've started to notice it more. If a star knocks a star down, those stars will gladly help each other up. It should be like that across the board. I'm not saying you're supposed to be. Now, there are certain circumstances. If it's a hard foul and you know that it felt like he was trying to help, I don't want you helping me up, man. You just tried to hurt me, right? That's not cool, right? But fouls happen. You get tangled up, jump balls and stuff. When the play's over, the play's over. But I see more kids now being really aggressive with how they act. And I see a lot of this coming from what I see in college and pros. It's mainly from the pros, because most of the young kids aren't watching college ball, right? They're watching the pros because they're trying to watch the stars. They're emulating the stars. And that's kind of how some kids are. But we have to get better at it. We have to get better at showing kids what it means to play hard and competitive, but be nice, right? I played hard and competitive. If I, fell, or if somebody fell, I reached down and got them up and, so you all right, man? You good? Yeah, man, I'm good. And keep going. It was my personality. But I wasn't like out here. Charles Barkley, I heard some of the old heads say, "Oh, we ain't shaking nobody's hand after the game." That's bullshit. Because I always saw you guys at the end of the game, you weren't like lovey-dovey and stuff, but you walked over, hey, good game and stuff like that. That's sportsmanship, right? That's what you're supposed to show. And it starts for the top. So if they're seeing you act a certain way every time you hit a three, you're running around ice in the vein, but you're 1 for 13. You don't have ice in the veins, right? If a person who's hit like 7 of 8 from threes, they've scored 40 something points, they deserve to do the ice in the vein. And I get the whole, that's my signature thing, but it can't be everybody's signature. You can't have 20 guys who have the signature of ice in your vein or something when they do something good, but when they do something bad, they don't want to hear about it, right? That's another thing. Be able to accept criticism and be able to, hey, if you're having a bad game, stand on that. Man, look, man, I had a bad game. I got to do better. And I'm not saying players don't do it, but it's starting to be a reason. These kids are seeing this. These kids are seeing how there's celebration. One of the things I loved, I wish I would have filmed it while I was watching the game. There was a kid from one team. He's bringing up the ball. Defenders on him. So he went hard right. This was like 5th, 6th grade. Kid went hard right, and then went behind his back, like really hard stop behind the back. Well, the defender stumbled and fell. And then this kid who kind of had a little bad attitude, right? He was like, oh, and then he took the shot. He missed the shot, which can happen. I'm not, no big deal. And then the kid that fell kind of got up. Well, next time he brought the ball up, the kid who had fell ripped him, took the ball from him, right? And it was beautiful because that was competitive. Now, where it went bad was now the kid who got the ball ripped decides to push him. And they call a foul on him. And I'm thinking, well, see, that kid has to be told, hey, if it was good when you made that move and he fell, then it needs to be good when he ripped you. Don't go around if you put the highlight up that you made the move and you missed the shot, put the next highlight up and say, you know what? But on the next play, hey man, he played good defense. It's basketball. It's competitive. You're not going to score 40 every game. You're not going to make somebody fall every game. Right? You're going to play against somebody that's as good as you, if not better. Making somebody fall on one end and then coming back and that person making you fall, that's beautiful. That's competitive. Now I want to see what you do now. Yeah, it's not all sweet and gravy right now. Ooh, I said sweet and gravy. I don't even know where that came from. No, maybe I'm hungry. Sweet and gravy. I don't think I've ever heard somebody say that. But it's not all. I think I was putting them both together. But it's not all good now. Now you have to play, right? It's almost like some kids think, well, if I make a move, then now he's not gonna guard me anymore. He's gonna be scared of me. Not everybody's gonna be scared of you. I had defenders who didn't want to guard me because they didn't want me to embarrass them. But then I had other defenders that were like, yo, I want you to challenge me. I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to make you work. And I loved it. I think I loved the challenge of playing somebody who pushed me, when I was playing and we played hard against each other. And then at the end of the game, it was love. It didn't mean, hey, man, we're going to go out to eat now. And, they get upset with the old heads get upset with the exchanging jerseys and stuff. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, and it doesn't mean like because I don't have a problem, nobody should. But I do have a problem with the way sportsmanship is now. It's bad. Sportsmanship towards other players, sportsmanship towards coaches, sportsmanship towards refs. I saw little kids yelling at refs about a call. These kids were thinking that they weren't fouling. These kids didn't even know how to play man-to-man defense. Anytime the ball handler tried to go by him, there were always two hands, and you're forcefully kind of pushing this kid. And then when they call a foul and they do the referee puts his hands to say, push, and the player's like, huh, what did I do? And I'm thinking to myself, you must don't know how to play defense because you don't understand that that's a foul, right? And if it's the other way around, he's trying to say, hey, he's fouling, he's pushing. So if it's a foul on him, then it should be a foul on you. So there needs to be better education. Coaches, you listening, start getting on your players about this. I get it. I know it. I understand it. The celebration, you emulating what you see on TV, but they need to know that that's not cool, because things start to fester, and you start to have kids, trying to do things that they shouldn't be doing, hurting each other because they're upset. They need to know, man, you're going to get your ass busted sometimes on the floor. Somebody going to torch you. You might get 30 put on your head. You might put 30 on somebody else's head. You might get dropped with a crossover. You might drop somebody on the crossover. You might get dunked on. You might dunk on somebody. That's basketball. Stop being in your feelings, thinking that nobody can do anything bad from you. If you're down on the floor and the person who fouled you, who just happened to foul you, and you guys lost your balance and you fell, and he extends his hand out to try to help you up, if you allow that kid to wave him off, you need to look at yourself, coaches. You need to look at yourself. If I was a coach and I saw that, I'd call a timeout and I'd rip into that player. And I'd tell him, man, look, I know we have a brotherhood and it's this us against them stuff. Yeah, it is. But if you're at Walmart and you fall and he comes extend his hand out, are you going to wave him off? No. You're going to accept it and have him help you out, and you're going to tell him, thanks, man, appreciate it. It should be the same. Now, again, if he intentionally fouled you like that and tried to hurt you, I get why you don't want him, right? But, I mean, accept it. Maybe he intentionally fouled you. Maybe he didn't mean to foul you like that and cause you that kind of pain. And if it happens sometimes in the heat of the moment, you do stuff and you're like, man, why did I do that? It's not me, right? And you try to shake his hand. So if you don't shake his hand, I'm not even going to be as bothered by that. I get it. But I wish we would accept it more and more on the sportsmanship towards each other, towards coaches, towards refs. Got to get a handle on this. And I think it needs to start at top. I'm going to message some of my, contacts that I deal with throughout the league, scouts and stuff, and say, man, we need to get a message out to people, to these players. They need to start showing what sportsmanship is about. You can play hard. You can help each other out, help your brother out. But if you get fouled and you're kind of on the side and that player extends their hand, man, take their hand and get up and stop whining. Like you at the recess and somebody took your lunch pail or something, and I don't know why I'm saying lunch pail, but whatever it is, you over there whining and you just being a brat. That's the way it looks to me. I really think it's bad. It's bad behavior, but I know where they're getting it, and I know I'm making a conscious effort to start telling my kids, man, don't let me come to one of your games and see y'all acting out like that. Y'all done lost y'all mind if y'all think y'all gonna do that. With me there, you shouldn't be doing it anywhere. And your parents should be I did see a parent take a kid out, took his butt in the hallway and got on him because he was being a brat on the court. If you allow that behavior, then you allow those people to come and be those type of people in life. And then you're going to have kids emulating that bratty behavior. Stop being like that. That was an NFL player just recently, Pickens. I didn't see the film. They was talking about it. Apparently, it was he played for the Steelers. He was wide receiver. The running back got the ball, and he knew what the play was, but he didn't block. So, then people were getting on him and he was whining, saying, well, y'all don't play football. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Well, the people who was getting on his ass were people who played football. And then his own players start calling him out. And apparently this kid has had a history of kind of off the field, kind of pouty, kind of gets upset with certain things. Well, he's been allowed to do that since the dawn of time, since he's been playing. And that behavior wasn't corrected. So, of course, he's going to be who he is now. And you really can't get mad at him because he really feels like it's okay. Ain't nobody said anything. You start stealing and ain't nobody report you. Man, you feel like it's okay. And then all of a sudden somebody reports you and you're like, wait a minute, why are you reporting me? Because I'm stealing. Man, I've been stealing for 10 years and you never said nothing. Why you say something now? So, stop it now. Stop it now. Let's do better. Let's do better, people. They're looking up to us. The little kids now that are playing, they're looking up to us. They're looking at us for guidance, and they're wanting to see what's acceptable. So the only way they're going to know is for us to really guide them and show them it's not good behavior. I tell my kids when they do something. I had one kid one time, he made a jump shot, right? We did a drill. He hit his first 2 jump shots, right? And he says, that's wet, which is say my shot's on, my shot's wet. I'm hitting my jump shot, right? So and I was kind of shaking my head like, okay, all right. He missed his next 7. He didn't say anything anymore. Now he's upset and frustrated. So I just kind of turned to him and said, so does that mean that your shot's dry? Because it was wet when you was making it. Is it dry now? And he kind of gave me a look, and I just explained to him, look, you're not going to make every shot. You're going to miss lots of shots. These are open shots with no defense. Imagine when you're in the heat of the game. You're going to miss lots of shots. So understand why you're missing. And yeah, I said, look, if you make 7 in a row and you want to turn and say, yo, my shot is wet right now, I buy that. But you can't make 2 and then miss 7, right? You can't do it. And every time when doing the workout, anytime he made a shot, it was wet. And then I had to remind him when he missed it. Then I said, hey, if it's wet when you make it, then you need to say it's dry when you miss it. But that's all for today. I am going to do a bonus section. And on the bonus section, I'm going to talk about Minnesota Timberwolves playing smarter basketball. I'm also going to talk about an unnatural spin for shooters and what I feel was wrong with Stephen A. Smith's talking about Steph Curry. So if you like what you heard today, obviously, shout me out in the comment section or, engage me. If you like some of the stuff I said, if you think I was full of shit with some of the other stuff I said, then, let me know. Look, man, I got into a space to where I was, I don't want to say overly concerned, but I was always trying to be like, I didn't want to say this to offend this person you can't live your life like that. Now, that doesn't mean I'm just going to just start spewing out stuff, right? Like at first I was, talking the way I talk, a little bit expletives here and there. But, and then I went to where I wasn't using any cuss words because I didn't want any kids to feel a certain type of way. Now I might use a cuss word here and there. But I'm not, being a certain type of way. And, if a kid says, hey, I talk bad to people and I cuss people out because I heard you cussing, then I would definitely not. But some of these kids tell me, or some of the parents say, oh, well, they hear worse at home. And I'm like, kind of chuckle, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, that's really not nothing to be proud of, but I get it. We talk. I try not to cuss around my kids. But and I say kids like they're still under, like they're still little, they're all adults, but I still try not to do it. I try not to curse around my mama, even though I can, I don't want to, cause I don't want her looking at me like she gonna pop me upside my head. But, yeah, just take care of each other. Let's enjoy the holidays, make it festive, make it memorable. Love each other, enjoy some, good food, and enjoy the NBA the Christmas games. Obviously going to be some football as well. Enjoy the Christmas game. I tell you, ever since I was 9, 10, some of my greatest memories were like on Christmas Day going to one of my granny's houses. And the first thing I'm like looking at my dad, like, is the game going to be on so I can look at the game? And of course, game is on. I'm watching the NBA the whole day, and they're in there talking and doing what they're doing, and they're eating. Man, I just loved it. So I always try to look at it. And of course, Christmas Eve, I start with A Christmas Story. Got to watch Christmas Story. Got to watch Elf. There's some other ones, but Christmas Story I'll watch, and I'll keep the TV on all night. And every time I wake up throughout the night, it's always on the same scene. It's weird, man. It's weird. So I hope you guys enjoy yours. I'm going to really try to, when I'm not going to try, I will enjoy it with whatever it brings. And kiss your loved ones, because you never know when they're not going to be here. I'm going to end it like I always do. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. I'm out.
Street cred sports, say it with your chest. Yeah. Go get it from the net. Street cred sports, okay, that's a bet.